So, I was just going to record this, but I'm going to do this way for now. Um, I'm going to share this information in just a moment. Mm, mm, mm. So, really quickly, I will post this replay. Um, Nobody may not even see me live on here for reasons that I really don't need to get into because I've already posted a screenshot as to why I'm not easy to find. But let me first start off by saying this. Theoretically, okay? Theoretically, let's just talk about theoreticals and entertainment, okay? Let's say that what we called possession that required exorcisms to be done. What if possessions that require exorcisms to be done was actually something that was created to keep the masses under control? What if? What if the spirits that are used to possess people are not possessing people for no reason? What if somebody has the codes and keys to conjure these entities and they have the knowledge to send those entities into specific demographics of people, hypothetically? Because what I'm saying is mass possessions. I am saying a mass amount of possessions. I am saying a mass amount of what we call demonic. Okay, for those of us who were religious, depending on which religion it was either demons, it was either principalities and powers of the unseen world, or it was jinns. And they have many other names that they go by. Okay, many other names that they go by. And I'm going to tell you from experience with demons in religion, and after I deconstructed religion and became the temple myself instead of going to the temple. So, what we call demons, principalities of the air, rulers of the unseen world, thought forms, egregores, archons. What if the main requirement for them to possess you, even if it's just for a second, would be you letting your guard down, which means that you become unaware? What if the aura, that's that electromagnetic field that's around every human with a soul, what if your aura can get holes poked in it from being triggered and not knowing how to manage the trigger? What if having a dysregulated nervous system is the main requirement for you to be possessed or influenced by entities that you cannot see? What if what we call demons, jinns, thought forms, archons, egregores, deities, mounting? Okay, this is from ancient African spirituality, ancient Mayan spirituality, ancient Kemet spirituality, the Hindu systems. See, I have went through initiations within my dreams, so I can't make this up. This is not stuff that I want to read in a book, okay? And a lot of my dreams, I would say 50% of my dreams is online. Y'all just got to know where to go look and where to find it, because I'm not easy to find. But let's just say that the 72 demons of Goetia are characteristics that are created from traumatic experiences. Now, in family systems, which is a system that's used to help get to the root of the trauma that's impacting you from your unconscious, okay? That's what internal family systems means. So there is an internal mother, there is an internal father inside of us, okay? Carl Jung talked about the anima and the animus. That's the internal inner feminine, the inner masculine that exists within all of us. But we also have 6 subtle bodies and 7 chakras, depending on what spiritual pantheon you study. So this means that what you see with your physical eyes is not even 10% of what you actually are, which means if we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, that means that an entire universe lives inside of us. What if what we call parasites are actually entities that are very similar, if not the exact same thing as demons? Because the parasites inside of us is what dictates our behavior and the way that we think, and it also influences the people we have sex with. If you don't believe me, you can go look it up when this live is over. Okay, this is not a paid live, so I'm not going to go real deep. Y'all getting a lot for free already, and I share a lot because I really do care. I share because I care. So, parasites, the 72 demons of Goetia. What if that's the same thing? What if the archonic parasites, which are energetic parasites that the Gnostic text talked about, what if those are the same things? What if the so-called demons in the Hindu pantheon, what if that's the same thing? And we're just describing things with different ways of describing them, but ultimately the one commonality between all of them is that they impact human thought and behavior. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a moment, because I want you to start deconstructing what you think you know about possession, entity attachment, and aliens, and demons, and parasites. Okay? So, if the prerequisite is trauma, and if epigenetics, which is the scientific proof of what we already knew from spiritual systems that have existed since the beginning of what we would call time, what if the trauma that you do not heal makes you a vibrational match for these entities to enter into you? Entity is into, right? It's to go into, inner, right? And what it does is it uses your biology, it uses your nervous system, it uses your memories of trauma that have not yet been healed, and it sabotages you and your life. Now, everybody is not aware of this. Most people who are still taking the blue pill supplement every day, and not that other blue pill, okay? most of those people are completely unaware of this. They think that demons and demonic possession is something that happens like the movie Exorcist, and it absolutely has nothing to do with them. And there is no way possible that they could be being possessed. Okay? The blue pill people don't believe any of this, and they don't think that it's true. Okay? They don't think that it can happen to them. I used to be her. Okay? I didn't think it could happen to me. If y'all see my face doing some weird stuff, I'm not shape shifting. It might be just this filter, but I'm in the middle of cooking, and I had to do this video real quick because it just was weighing on me. As an empath, shit has been real heavy lately. Okay, so I've really been having to do a lot to keep my nervous system healthy. Okay, so stick with me. Stick with me. So what happens is we, because in our own arrogance, because that's what it is, it's arrogance, to think that you cannot ever be manipulated by an energy outside of you. That's called spiritual pride or the spiritual ego. Now, I've been through many ego deaths, and I'm currently going through another one where there is a version of me that is dying, and it is painful when a version of you that you relied on most of your life dies. It hurts. It don't feel good, but it's necessary. Okay, it's necessary. Because if you can't distinguish the difference between who you are when triggers, trauma, parasites, and entities are impacting you, and who you are when you're in your authentic frequency. You have to know the difference in how you talk to yourself, how you think, and how you show up. If you don't know this, this makes you more vulnerable to these entities, not just using you, your biology, your words, your thoughts, your energy, but attaching to people that's in your life to hurt you. It's not personal. It is spiritual warfare. Now, what if these entities require people to think that it cannot happen to them, or to not believe that they exist, or to be so arrogant that you think there is no possible way that this could be impacting you? What if, in order for those entities to take control of Earth, they need to be in a certain amount of people so that the people are doing the things that they want them to do to be able to manipulate our reality, which is a holographic reality and simulated and determined by frequency, energy, vibration of every human being with a soul on this planet? What if the things that we have been fed and the things that are legal in this country that are not legal in other countries, what if the entities need sugar to survive? What if the entities need heavy metals to survive, to create illness, to manipulate your frequency in your biology to be in alignment with disease, to get you in a low vibrational state and to keep you down there long enough to drown the real you? A lot of us don't know who the real us is, including myself. Still figuring it out. That's what the journey of self-mastery is about. Figuring out who you are authentically, not who you had to be to survive. Because most people who are born with spiritual gifts and that are highly empathic have soul contracts with families that have dysfunction. And a lot of that dysfunction is centered around the patriarchy and narcissism and this weird, we don't talk about the trauma and the secret things that have happened in the family and in the church. Like, we don't talk about that. Don't be telling nobody about Pastor. Don't be telling nobody that your daddy got your sister pregnant and that your sister's child is your niece but also your sister. Don't tell nobody about that. Keep that a secret, because if we keep it secret, then the pain of that gets stored in the body, and because it's stored in the body, now we have open holes that's been poked in the field that's supposed to be impenetrable, that is now able to be penetrated. So this is where secrets play a role, and this the secrets is the shadow. Okay, it's also called the underworld. Okay, so what's happening right now is, and this is not new, it's not new, this shit happened in our past lives. A lot of us just don't remember what happened in our past lives, so we don't know. Okay, this is why we don't know who we are, because if you had your past life memories, you wouldn't have to figure out who you are, because you would already know. Okay, and I'm going to be teaching more and more about this, because I cannot do one-on-ones with everybody who is ready for this information. I don't have the capacity or the energy or manpower to do that, is so I am going to be teaching more about how to figure out who you are, your past lives, your gifts, your skills, and the things that probably ended your life in previous lifetimes. It always connects to this life. Always. It's always a synchronicity that makes it make sense. But what if the purpose in giving us amnesia, number one, is to keep us reincarnated on the planet in a level of ignorance where we're more easy to be manipulated, or giving us amnesia because our divine self is actually allowing this to happen because it's a part of the ascension program. And so in order for you to ascend, first you have to descend. Okay, this is why Jesus Christ, what did he do before he ascended to the heavens? He had to go to hell. Do y'all remember the story? That story is about consciousness. It's about specifically Christ consciousness, how to access the higher mind. The higher mind is not even in the mind, it's in the heart. The heart is the higher mind. The heart is the computer that processes information based on who you are authentically. The mind is what has been contaminated by all of these life experiences and a lot of the stuff that we are now becoming aware of. The mind is keeping all of that data, and so it's really hard to bypass things that's operated in the unconscious and subconscious mind. You can't do it unless you connect to the heart. You can't purge and detox these entity attachments that manipulate your behavior and your inner talk up in here. It be sounding like it's you. They can mimic you. They sound just like you. And it's like, look at you. You just you suck. You terrible. You're not smart. You're not beautiful. You're not capable. You're broke. You're poor. Nobody, like how an abusive man or something like talks to a woman and make her feel like nobody else will ever want her. Yeah, that's where that come from. That is a specific entity that is inside of them that is doing that. And so when we have those lower vibrational thoughts, especially on the loop, that's the entity trying to wear us down. And once we get beat down enough, we will just accept whatever from that point, because our defense system is down. So as within, so without. So as we see a lot of things happening with the defense systems of different countries, you can see how that connects to what's happening within each and every one of us. Okay. So with a lot of the war and stuff that we're seeing, it's because of inside in here. 8.5 billion people. And we all deal with something. Nobody is perfect. We all deal with something. So what happens is you start to feel like you are not good enough to be and do what you are here to be and do. And as long as they can keep us running on that hamster wheel of self-healing and not ever feeling enough within ourselves. Now, I'm specifically talking to the people who took the red pill. Those are the brave ones who woke up and realized that damn near everything we ever been told was a lie. That's the red pill. It shakes you from the dream state. So we're not really here. We're having this human experience, but your true whole self is in another dimension. And this is like a dream that you wake up from once you die. When you leave your body, you wake up from this dream of this experience. And usually, after some time passed and we move through the spheres of the planets, we then make new soul contracts and we incarnate again. Okay? If you study evolutionary astrology, you would know what I'm talking about. Or even if you study Kabbalah, you would know what I'm talking about. And so there are 7 types of souls. I'm you know, if the energy exchange is even, I will go deeper into this. I just need enough people to let me know that they're aware of it, because I'm a 3/5 martyr heretic manifesting generator, hybrid and human design. And so I respond well to need. Okay, when I am needed and requested, and then this is when my higher I divine self speaks and comes through. All right. So thank y'all for the hearts and the live, and whoever hit that heart me, look like I got a heart me or something up there. I don't know what that means, but if you do that and you know what that means, I appreciate you, because you're letting me know that you appreciate me when you do that. And that's important. Okay, because we can't be complaining about people not appreciating us, and then when we get information to help us, we don't show appreciation. Of course you're going to manifest people who don't appreciate you, right? So a lot of things can be fixed by the way that we manage our own energy. Okay, so with all that being said, we have a lot of things happening with the food system. But why? Tyson closing down, not even giving people a heads up. Whole lot of people lost their jobs like in one day. Power outages, so food is spoiling. Can't get all the food that we need anymore for certain reasons. Finding out that parasites is in a lot of stuff. Potassium bromate, sugar, corn syrup, cornstarch, citric acid, which is a type of mold. The list just goes on and on. So when you take the red pill, there are even less things that you can eat and feel good about it. And it's not going to be readily available. I can't go out and go places and just pull up somewhere and get something to eat like I used to. On the old earth, yeah, when I was still popping the blue pill, that was part of my day-to-day life. It's not anymore. I don't really venture into the middle of grocery stores anymore. That also means that I don't have as much free time as I used to, because I spend a lot of time cleaning food, soaking food, cooking food properly, making sure that I'm eating fresh meals, and everybody in my house has a different diet. So sometimes I have to cook multiple meals to make sure we're getting high vibrational foods. It's a lot. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's a lot. When you unplug from the matrix, you're gonna have to learn how to adapt. You're not gonna have the quick conveniences that you were once used to. So as all of this is happening with the food, notice when we start pulling away from the quick convenient things that was poisoning us, all of a sudden, all of the organic stuff, healthy stuff that's beneficial for us, is getting harder and harder to find. That's a pretty trippy coincidence. But why? Because if 1% on this planet continue to choose the red pill path of living in honesty and transparency, and let me tell you, society is really not set up for honesty. Society is set up to keep us feeling like we have to put on mask and we have to be performative just to operate. And it's exhausting to people who are here to figure out how to be their authentic selves. So if you are tired, if you are burnt out, and if shallow conversations just make your skin crawl, know that you are not alone. That is one of the side effects of popping a red pill. Okay. It's not for the faint of heart. It is for the brave ones, the chosen ones. Everybody will not make this choice in this lifetime. Do not try to wake anybody up. If people are taking the blue pill, let them have a blue pill. That is their choice. They have free will, so let them have the blue pill. You focus on you, okay, and do the best that you can. As I'm saying that, let me say this, because it's 90% of what I know I cannot say to you here. So I'm giving you 10%. Not even that, probably 5. So in my research, we are also now dealing with biological engineering that has blended itself with synthetic engineering. And so there is a new breed of entities that we are now dealing with. Those entities thrive in certain levels of hertz and vibrations, frequencies, millimeter wave frequencies, to be specific. Look at the David Hawkins consciousness map, and you will see what I mean. So if you spend a lot of time at 80 hertz, which is usually associated with guilt, especially if you're a woman and you're trying to learn how to take better care of yourself and you feel guilty when you do it, because we've been programmed to give until we literally have no life left in us. We've been programmed so deeply to do that, that when you finally take care of yourself, you feel guilty behind it. That's by design, allegedly. So if you destabilize the food system, then you're going to have a lot more despair and fear and anger and violence and crime. So the entities that thrive on those foods, because energy is food, we eat food for the energy that it gives. Okay, energy is food. So fatten us up with the stuff that will fatten up the entities that have contracts with certain factions to control the planet. Okay. And with this control of the planet, Ashe, I see you, DJ Big Easy. That right there is a man who has a beautiful heart. Especially if somebody can get on any of my videos, and I deconstruct things that most people have never even thought about. I appreciate you. He plays amazing music, so y'all should go check him out if you haven't. So back to what I was saying, because I don't want to lose this. I need y'all to really hear me when I say this. I do not teach everything that I know through these platforms because it is destabilizing. I went into a deep depression when I started asking the questions that was going to lead me to the truth. I thought that I was ready before I was really ready. I wasn't fully ready. So to learn that over 75% of the food that is available to us is actually not helping us, creating disease. Disease is directly connected to what we would call demons. That's directly connected to behavior that is going to be hurtful, not just to yourself, but to the people that you love and care about. Most of us don't be trying to hurt people. And I'm pretty sure that y'all remember the last time you got your feelings hurt. And I'm pretty sure it was by somebody that you probably did not expect to hurt your feelings. So I need y'all to know that this is not personal. Even if a person tell you it's personal, don't believe them. It's spiritual. And we don't all have the capacity to always know when our energy is being manipulated. It's no shame in that. We are not perfect. We are here to learn. But I need y'all to hear me when I say this. I have been predicting the future publicly since 2006, and I ain't got none of it wrong. So I'm very careful about what I share publicly because I don't want to destabilize somebody who wasn't ready. You have to be ready to know the truth. And you also have to have a toolkit to help you to survive that truth. So the first time that I started realizing that it was the food that was creating this food pyramid so that we continue to feed into situations that hurt one another and ourselves. That broke my heart. I'm an empath. My shadow is that I care more for other people than for myself. I will put myself in front of a moving train to save a stranger. And I was so proud of that for a very long time until I realized the deeper subconscious manipulation that was happening. I'm not supposed to be doing anything in service to other people at the expense of my own well-being, because that's equivalent to coiciding myself. I don't know why I use cool around with Sue. Y'all can figure it out. And it's like I'm slowly taking my own life because I don't know how to take care of myself. I only know how to take care of other people. So for those of us who are empaths, when we get our feelings hurt, it hurts deeper than we can really even explain. And when that pain is inside of you and you don't know how to get it out of you, you become a vibrational match for possession. Entities cannot possess you immediately. They have to wear you down over time, and they are very patient. And some entities have waited multiple lifetimes for ages to get to this planet and to be able to inhabit a human body. Do you know why? Because this is the only planet in the galaxy where we get to come and have this human experience in a physical body, completely void of the remembrance that we are all fragments of the Creator. That's something that you have to learn through life. As babies, we know because we just left there and we remember. But by the time you start talking, the subconscious mind and the ego is created between the ages of the womb to age 7 or 8 years old. So we're being programmed as soon as we get here. So by the time you're 7, 8 years old, you don't know who you are anymore. You become whoever you needed to become to fit into your family system. Whatever it is that they expected of you is usually what you become. If they wanted you to be a doctor, you usually will go to school to become a doctor. That's just kind of how it works, you know. But that's changing now. And so I want y'all to be aware of this, because in 3 to 6 months from now, the planet is going to look very different than it does today. And if you struggle with guilt, if you struggle with shame, if you struggle with overgiving, if you struggle with feeling resentful because it seems like sometimes people don't fully appreciate you, I want you to look within yourself more than you look at other people and what they're doing. Because it doesn't mean that other people don't do things to try to get you in that vibrational field. It just means that if you constantly look outside of yourself for what the problem is, you won't be able to get to the root because you're too busy pruning the branches. You need to be able to reach the root. And in order to reach the root, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So when you know you did some shady shit, when you know you did or said something hurtful, when you know you got angry and triggered, when you know you did something out of spite, you have to be able to sit with it and say, you know what, I did that. I did that. Because when you take accountability, entities cannot manipulate you. When you take accountability, when you practice self-awareness, entities can't use you to create pain and suffering in other people. See, I'm somebody that's not usable. Now, they can use me to cause me to harm myself, but not other people. So you need to know yourself well enough to know what ways does this show up for me. I don't want you to get too focused on other people, and don't even get too focused on the whole demon possession entity thing. It's all just energy. We don't need to hyper fixate on that part. Now, I'm speaking as somebody who has flatlined twice, had a conversation with the creator, did an overview of my soul contract in my life, my soul's mission, decided to come back both times. Sometimes I think that I was crazy. Okay, I have some days where I'm like, did I really want to come back here? But I did, and I did it out of love. I did it out of love and because I want to complete what I am here to do. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. None of us does. But I will tell you this. Every single thing that you love will die. Everything. Everything and everyone that you love will die. Every item that you have that you love will one day no longer be of use to you. It is very rare that something stays with us from birth, from the womb to the tomb. So this life is teaching us how to surrender to the divine's plan that is outside of what you can conceive. If anybody is telling you that they have all of this put together and laid out and they know everything there is to know, they are lying to you. Because not one human on this planet has it all together. Each and every one of us have fragments, wisdom, knowledge, and experiences, skills, tools, and gifts, soul missions that can help humanity to raise up to a higher vibration. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. The journey is figuring out what those things are. But in order for you to get there, you got to get used to sitting in uncomfortable emotions. You must learn the value of silence, the value of spending time alone, because they are slowly turning us into machines. A machine requires a program to operate. Its gain of function is attained through a script. It doesn't have the capacity to say no to the script. So before I'm stubborn. So I was not going to leave any belief system that I have ever practiced just because somebody else told me something was not right about it. I'm stubborn. And it took me to have to actually leave my body, watch them bring me back, and get back in my body just for me to get to the point where I am with you all now. And I don't want it to take that for y'all. Now, I'm going to be real honest with y'all. Whatever it is that you have been told to be true, that is now starting to not feel as true for you, most people around you are not going to be understanding, and they're not going to be compassionate. It's not because they're against you. It's just because they're not to that point. Every soul don't have the exact same journey. We're not supposed to. Again, there are 7 different types of souls that come to this planet. There are earth angels, There are heavenly angels. It's so many things. But let me say this. Every monotheistic religion was teaching us about us in the form of mythology, theology, astrotheology, and parables. Those stories was to help us understand something that was very complex. We didn't have a language for quantum physics. We didn't have a language for metaphysics. For a very long time, melanated people couldn't read books. We weren't allowed to read books. Are y'all listening to me? Why would we not be allowed to read books? Knowledge should be free. But we had to work our asses off. That created trauma. It created trauma, and it created a dependency on someone else to tell you what the truth is. So a lot of what we believe to be true is actually an inherited belief from people who didn't have access to the knowledge we have access to. Now that we have access to this knowledge, discernment is key. If you are not practicing your intuition every day, learning how to distinguish the difference between your gut speaking to you, that's your higher I divine self. Some would say that's your angelic self. In some spiritual systems, that's your Ori. In Chinese metaphysics, that's your Shin. See, we got all of these names, but it's all describing the same thing. In monotheistic religion, that's called the Ruach, or the Holy Spirit. That is the part of you that is whole. So we don't need to really split hairs right now over who's right and who's not. In 6 months to 3 years from now, that's not going to matter anymore. The division that was created by the people who wanted to obtain supremacy in this world was created for this time right now. Because they knew that the amnesia was going to wear off. They knew that we were going to start connecting dots. They knew that we were going to start saying, wait a minute, hold on now, hold on now, hold on, hold on. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I only this job? Am I only the version of me that my family raised me to be? Or could it be something else? And that untapped potential is the reason that they orchestrated to put us in confusion. Hegelian dialect, helter-skelter, intentional cognitive dissonance, Tavistock Institute, the Beatles. See, these things have been studied. The art of creating a Negro, the art of creating a religious-minded Negro. All of these things were created for the purpose of domination over people who forgot their divinity. So I need y'all, you need you to start creating a system that will sustain a regulated nervous system so that you are not swept away by these invisible forces that's out here just moving through the air, looking for any victim in any way to get into you to create havoc, harm, and hurt. And a lot of it is unintentional. And most people who are in relationships where they are not as happy as they would like to be, it's not personal. It's not because the two people don't have any love for each other. I know it might feel that way. And there are rare situations where you could be in a karmic relationship and there is no love for each other. But that's not the reason. See, a relationship between two people is the highest form of alchemy. because relationships are mirrors to the parts of ourselves we cannot see. So in order for those who want world domination to have that, they can't have people in partnerships where they are both determined to be in their heart and not be in the ego. Because when you get two people that come together in a frequency of love, you want to know what that creates? I'm finna give y'all a secret. That creates the 144,000. And if you've never heard of the 144,000 after this live, go look it up. The 144,000 is not a number of people. I know you probably heard that. That's not what it is. The 144,000 is the 72,000 circuits, meridians, cities within the human body. This is the energy system of the human body. There is 72,000 circuits running through you right now. If you are able to harness the power of those 72,000 circuits in the frequency of love and come together with another person, that makes 144,000. That means that those two people, monotheistic religion took this from ancient prophecies. That means that two people could slay 10,000. That doesn't mean war. It doesn't mean bloodshed. It means that you will have a more powerful conduit of energy to move mountains. That is the reason. It don't matter what relationship coach you listen to. What they are talking about is the symptoms. They're not talking about the roots. The roots is rooted in what I'm saying to you right now. They don't want us to love each other. They don't want us to love ourselves because that is the only frequency that removes their power. Because once you make an agreement with these entities to be used on this planet to keep people vibrating in a low frequency, you're going to be rewarded for it. You go get houses, cars, opportunities, jobs, TV shows, podcasts, contracts, record deals. I mean, it will almost seem like life is just perfect for you. But that's the illusion because it's going to cost you something. You're going to have to come back and pay that karmic debt in another lifetime. So what happens is when we unintentionally, I'm not even talking about intentional, I'm talking about when we unintentionally hurt our children, hurt ourselves, our partners, spouses, parents, siblings, whoever, whatever, it creates a ripple effect. And that ripple effect will have an impact on you, whether you want it to or not. And what it does is it sends out a broadcast system to these parasites, powers of the unseen realm. It's a beacon for them, and they see that you are a vibrational match. So guess what? They're going to attach to you. They're going to whisper in your ear, manipulate your mind, manipulate your perception, have you thinking conversations are happening behind your back that's not happening. And I'm going to tell y'all one more secret. A lot of people who started off actually wanting to help people that didn't know how to protect themselves, that didn't know how to hold on to their integrity, a lot of those people have been inhabited by these entities. And so if you hear anybody saying a lot of things like, "Ooh, they talking about you behind your back," They don't want you to do well. They've been trying to hold you down. They jealous of you. They envious of you. Ooh, they don't like it. And this, it makes your ego feel good because you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They be hating on me. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's it. That's it. And it's gonna keep you hooked. You will keep coming back to their videos, to their content, paying for their readings, consultations, whatever it is that they give. You will be hooked and you won't ever figure out how to operate your system in a way that's authentic for you. I'm noticing that. The 3D matrix is helping the people who are part of the blue pill programming. And it's not, for most of them, it's not intentional. Some, but not most. They was just open. They opened themselves up to something and they didn't know. So I'm skipping past a lot of tarot card readers, a lot of people who are just giving out information, consultation, help. I mean, it's in many different realms now, but I can feel the energy and I'm like, no, this is not an energy that resonates with love. I don't need to be hyper fixated on anybody who is praying for my downfall. That's not going to help me. That's actually going to take me in the opposite direction that my soul is moving me into. So I don't want to focus on the evil eye energy that people are sending my way, right? I want to focus on what am I doing that sabotages my own life, and how can I improve that? What is it that I actually need to be that better version of myself? I'm gonna tell y'all one more thing, and then I'm gonna get off of here because I done already said a lot. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this gift. Not in this lifetime. This gift is heavy. It is. I know so much about people, what they do behind closed doors, systems, what they're doing behind closed doors. And I have precognition. Sometimes I go places or I touch things and a whole vision, like a whole movie, will play in me. And I have to pull myself out of the vision and come back into my body and back into reality. And sometimes it's really terrible things that I do not want to see. I don't out people. That's not my business to do. I don't tell people what I see in other people. Even when people book consultations with me, I'm not going to tell you anything because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't want to make people dependent on me. I want them to be able to trust their own intuition. But lately, when I'm out and about, people are driving in such a crazy, insane way. You can just feel the energy that's on the planet right now. And a lot of people are really close to the edge. So I'm gonna say something that probably sounds really crazy. And that's okay, because most of what I say is out the box. It's to expand awareness, right? Because if you're only hearing what you've always heard, how will you ever become who you want to be? You know? So mass job layoffs, mass homelessness, mass use of substances to cope, and that does include food and sex. Okay? There are a lot of different ways we can use energy to avoid reality. And if you're somebody who has experienced a hard life or been through some tough times or had a rough childhood, that's even the more so. Fear is what brought us to this point, which means love is the only thing that's going to heal us. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Love does not come from light. Love cannot come from light, what we call light. This can be confusing and create cognitive dissonance, but I'm going to explain this thought, and I think that I'm going to be done with what my heart wanted to express to the souls who were going to find me. But in the beginning, there was darkness, and darkness hovered above the waters. What waters? Well, what's made of water? Space, the oceans, and human bodies. That was mirrored in the biology of a woman. Every single human that has ever seen the light of day, life started in darkness as well. So not just the creation of this world externally, but the creation of every human being that has ever come to this planet started in complete and total darkness in the womb of its mother. So love actually comes from darkness because creation begins in darkness. There's a difference between darkness and wickedness. It's not synonymous. Every single thing, fruit and vegetable and grain that you would put in your mouth exists because of darkness. Doesn't exist because of just the sunlight that it needed. The sunlight was not first in that process of creation. The darkness of the soil was. Darkness is synonymous with the womb of a woman that creates life. Life is love. Love is life. Darkness is synonymous with the subconscious and unconscious mind. That's where all the little creepy crawlies live. The terrible things that people did to you and said to you that you had not been able to really access and heal or release. It's all there, and it just sits in there until you're ready to address it. And the people in your life who trigger you, they're in your life to bring those things up to the light. So even what we call toxic behavior in relationships is meant to be a catalyst for us to improve upon ourselves. Right now, I see too much love and light, and it makes no sense because I'm like, life is created in darkness. What is this aversion to darkness? Why are we so afraid of the dark? Because as babies, we were not afraid to be in the darkness of our mother's womb. Where did that come from? Why did they make so many movies to make us be afraid of the dark? But at the same time, when we pray, we're supposed to close our eyes and pray in darkness to connect with the unseen realm. It creates instability mentally because it's not logical and it doesn't make sense and it's confusing. And it is heartbreaking. Knowing as much as I know and the hard way that I had to learn it, it is so heartbreaking when people can't hear me because this type of message you can't hear with your ear that's been programmed by society, conditioning, upbringing. It has to be heard with the heart. Exact same letters. Just exchange the D and the T. It has to be heard with the heart. Ignore what I say. Feel the energy that is emitting from me. Even if what I'm saying is creating cognitive dissonance and something inside of you is saying it resonates with something else is saying, but I'm really afraid to believe anything other than what I've been told to be true. That's okay. That's a part of this journey of you figuring out who you are in your divinity, not the identity that was given to you. They created bonds on us, maritime law. The Black's Law Dictionary exposes so much. Why do they call us Black? Black means dead. Black is darkness. Black is bad. Black in media is bad. Most mug shots are of Black people. It's just this obsession with darkness, this obsession with connecting darkness with violence and darkness with crime and darkness with but malevolence. As if light and white is always right and is always the best. If light is not a byproduct of darkness, it's not illumination, it's ignorance. And ignorance is blissful. I miss the 90s because I was so ignorant. I was unaware. I didn't know half of what I know now. And life felt better. I ain't gonna lie. It felt better. I was enjoying the 3D Matrix program. I was enjoying the blue pill. I was enjoying not having to be accountable for things. I was enjoying having a devil to blame things on that I did. And I enjoyed having a scapegoat to go to when I did something wrong to make me feel better. I did. I enjoyed that. I really did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the spiritual arrogance that I felt when I would say things like, I'm a child of God. So, demons can't affect me. I didn't know what a spiritual ego was. I had never heard the word spiritual bypassing in my life. I didn't know that my life is created from my subconscious and unconscious mind, which is dark. Because it's not illuminated. It's in the shadows. It's the stuff that you compartmentalize. So when I figured that part out, that the conscious part of me is only 10% of me, and what I see in my life is not being created by who I'm consciously wanting to be. It's being created by the things that I have repressed. It's being created by the things that I no longer want to accept about myself. Just for shits and giggles, because I'm challenging myself to be painfully honest. Because if we don't start being painfully honest, we will continue to exist in a society where the most heinous things are happening to innocent people. Honesty and love is essential for us to shift the paradigm of what we see happening. So I'm going to be painfully honest. I'm going to do something that I'm usually afraid to do. This is the only way to get over the fear, is to feel it and do it anyway. I'm talking about not the healthy fear. Healthy fears, don't stick your hand in that pot of boiling water. That's a healthy fear. But an unhealthy fear is something that's holding you back and keeping you in paralysis because you're afraid of other people's analysis of what it is that you're going to say. So you don't have to believe me. And if you judge me based on this one statement, and that's okay. It is not my job nor my responsibility to manage other people's perspective of me. I know who I am. And for the people who know me closely, they will tell you that I am truly one of the most loving people they have ever met. Told me, and I can't be a savage because I can, but I choose not to be. So let me say this. Monotheistic religion participates in pagan rituals all day, every day. and just called it something else. I saw the Vatican today. Shout out to you who sent me the video. Thank you for sending me that video. I saw the Vatican today take the skull of Saint Agatha, if I'm not mistaken. That was the saint, but she was a martyr. She was someone that believed in Jesus, and she lost her life because of that in a brothel, and she was severely abused and really terrible things was done to her. And she refused to, not believe in Jesus. But the irony of this whole ritual that they just did, I think today or yesterday, the irony of all of this is that handling a skull of somebody who has died is necromancy. So why would they do an entire ritualistic ceremony around necromancy if necromancy is sinful? Why would they? Not just handling the skull, but kissing the skull intimately, a real skull of a real woman who lost her life in a really terrible way. Why is that even being glorified? And why is necromancy okay if it's in the name of some form of religion? You have to just ask questions. Why is it okay for us to eat the body of a man that died, necromancy, and drink the blood symbolically of the man that died, necromancy? That's conjure. That's conjuration. That's a vampiric ritualistic ceremony. And they disguised it as a holy act. Every single thing in monotheistic religion, all three of the main monotheistic religion, and all of the millions of branches that come from that, you can find all of that in pagan practices. All of it. I couldn't find anything that I was practicing in religion that was not being done by what was supposed to be idol worship. And I realized that the very thing I had spent my entire life trying to avoid doing, I was doing. And it was being called something else. That is one of the worst forms of deception, is to not give people the whole story, to not give them the true origin story, to tell them that it's evil for them to ask questions. It's evil for them to seek the truth. So I started studying demonology, because clearly something on this planet was occurring that was allowing these heinous things to happen. And I wanted to know what it was. What is the true root cause of human suffering? I don't want to know what somebody else heard, what somebody else read. Show me the cause of human suffering. And the cause of human suffering is the lie that we are disconnected from the Creator. Because if we all knew that we were fragments of the Creator, we would treat ourselves and each other with more love and compassion, less criticism and suspicion. That is the root of human suffering. It is the lack of love. It's the lack of compassion, the lack of empathy. And that is because hurt people hurt people. People are hurting. People are hurting. People are hurting. So hurt is created to keep us as a food source for entities that we cannot see. For those of you who cannot see them, don't ask to see them. I see them. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know that people that you love are being lied to, because you've already died. You've already went to the places that they're hoping to go to or hoping to avoid. And you've already explored those places and seen the truth and came back and got another chance to complete life. So that whole forgive them for they know not what they do, that was orchestrated. And the thing about the laws that rule the universe, just like gravity, gravity don't have a certain person that it will exercise its gain of function against. The laws of the universe, the laws of hermetics, it don't have a choice of people. It just does what it does. If you jump in the ocean and the ocean is turbulent, it's just going to do what it do. It's not doing it because it's you. It's not evil. That's its nature. And so it is for us to figure out how to be in alignment with nature, with love, with ourselves, with divinity. I don't care what other people have said. I'm finna tell y'all. We're going to start to see pastors, preachers, popes, Sikhs, temples, monks. I mean, let's just go on. We're going to start to see the energy that is inhabiting that individual. A lot of us are. And I got to tell you, it's heartbreaking, especially when you realize that somebody who has a lot of influence has something operating inside of them that's creating human suffering, and that soul is going to have to give an answer for that when they do their life review, when they enter into the afterlife and do their afterlife review. They're going to have to answer for that, and they're not going to have the answers. And they may say, you know, well, can I be forgiven because I didn't know what I was doing? The laws of the universe don't work that way. No, what you put out is what you receive. So you may have unintentionally hurt so and so, and whatever. You have to experience that for yourself so that you learn it's not personal, it's spiritual. All right. So I'm going to get off of here, y'all. Because my gift is truly sincere, and integrity is the most important thing to me. And being a Hayoka empath just makes it even more complex because I turn everything into a joke. It is one of the most healing things there is. I turn everything into a joke. You know, and so I just want y'all to remember, if you start to feel heavy, okay, go light. Find a way to go light. Whether it's laughter, whether it's dancing, music, don't sleep on the simple things of life. Be grateful for what you have. I know that each and every one of us can think of something that we would like to change in our lives. It will benefit you more to focus your energy on what you are grateful for versus the things that you want to change. The only thing that is certain in this universe is uncertainty. And with each passing day, life is going to become more uncertain. Society will become more unstable. People will become more unhinged. And the people that are going to thrive are the ones who know how to surrender, to be in humility, to not operate out of ego, and are able to drop down in the heart. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is not a easy process, but it is doable. You just have to be devoted every single day that I'm going to live from my heart. And that does mean that you are going to have periods of time where you're not going to want to be around a lot of people. You're just going to want to spend some time with yourself. And that's okay. Now, on another note, I support people that create music and art and DJs and things like that. At first, I looked at it like a spiritual bypassing kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm just trying to avoid life. But no, No, as all of this is happening, we still need to party. We still need to have some fun. We still need to shake a leg, as they would say. We still need the boogie down, okay? We still need to do those things because that is the energy of creation. Dance, music, rhythm, laughter, love. We need those things. So make a list of the things that make you feel lighter and intentionally do those things every day. Don't let yourself get in a sunken place for too long. If you are grieving, if you have lost a loved one, if you have a terminal illness, a chronic illness, pain, I'm dealing with it all right now. If you have those things, if I could tell you one thing, it would be this: don't blame yourself. It ain't your fault that you've been fed stuff that creates chronic illness in the body, that depletes the kidneys, that inflames the liver, inflames the body and joints. Like, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault that you experienced certain traumas that you couldn't even work out with your family of origin. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Whatever is happening in your life, don't blame yourself. Take accountability, but don't blame yourself. Those are two total different things. When you take accountability, you approach it with compassion. When you blame yourself, you approach it with disgust. So pay attention to yourself. So if you start to sink into those frequencies, look at it like the deep end of the pool. And if you don't know how to swim that well to be on the deep end, when you notice yourself drifting down there, just drift your ass back the other way. Okay? Do that. Okay? And know that your feed, the news, everything is going to be pulling for your attention. The most expensive thing in the world is attention, not money. Not valuables, not cars, houses, clothes, jewelry, none of that shit. The illusion is breaking down. We see that those things do not bring any happiness to us. It doesn't mean that money isn't required to do what we are here to do, because it does. And for those of us who have been working on having a pure heart and being in integrity that may have had money issues, that's going to go away. But you're going to have to get out of your way, and you're going to have to keep yourself in a neutral field of energy to allow that to come to you. And it's not going to come to you through you slaving yourself. It's not going to come to you through you having to do something that's against your morals, that's against your personal integrity. It's going to come to you because the universe knows that this person is devoted to love, and this person deserves to have these resources, because it is through this person's love and the resources combined that we will be able to shift the planet. So be encouraged, okay? Be encouraged. Don't allow yourself to beat yourself up, because you will be a vibrational match for these entities. And not only that, but what we think is concerts is really sex magic, a very specific type of sex magic. And I created a snippet of that video and it got blocked everywhere. So when that happens, I put that information on my Patreon, and you can go and get access to that and a lot more. But again, if you are not fully ready, don't. Make sure that your self-love practice is secure. Okay? Because more awareness without self-love leads to annihilation. And it's not the same thing as an ego death. You will start to feel nihilistic, apathy, depression, and you will start to wonder, what is the point in life at all? And why am I even here? And I don't want to do this anymore. And so many people are feeling this way, and I see it and I feel it. That's catastrophic. You don't want to stay there for too long. It's not going to hurt you to sit in it for a little while, but make sure that you give yourself a deadline when it's time for you to come out of that emotional field, and make sure that you use your tools to come out of it. If you need help with tools, I have ebooks that are available for immediate download. They're only $10 on my website. That can't nobody make no living off of that. So y'all know I ain't doing it for clout, and you know I ain't doing it for money. I'm doing it because I really want to help people. But later on, I will have a different service for people who really are serious about this and want to know what happened in the past life, how does it connect to this life, and how can I be a better version of myself? Because I keep trying, and it seems like that part of me is evading me. I want to be able to help other people do that. And I happen to be somebody who was went through a lot of chaos. So it's not really many things that y'all could tell me y'all been through that I haven't experienced, which is crazy. I'm really shocked that I'm still here. And I don't know how long I'm going to be on this planet. But I tell you one thing for sure, two things for sure. The next time that I leave this physical body and become pure energy, because energy cannot be destroyed, it takes on new form. I'm going to feel really, really great about the amount of people that I helped and shared my knowledge with. And it takes courage to do this because everybody that know me can see this and probably will watch this and probably will judge me because of it. Because my beliefs are not like everybody else's. But I'm not no better than nobody. I just experienced things that a lot of people haven't. People 2 and 3 times my age. And so this is what I came here to do, to be an oracle. All right. So I'm sending y'all peace and love. Remember what I said is not personal, it's spiritual. We got this. We're going to get through this. It's going to get rocky. It's going to be rough. We're not going to have as much stuff as we're used to having. Okay. We're not going to have as much products as we're used to having. We may not have as much food. We may not have as much water. We may not have as much clean air. We may not feel like we can trust anything anymore. We may not feel like we can trust the government, which means the mind. We may not feel like we can trust the medical institute. Like I'm like 10 to 15 years in the future in my experiences because I have already lived through all of this. It's on my old YouTube channel, y'all, except for the 250 videos that they deleted. But all other thousands is there. And I've already lived this timeline with the detention centers and everything that's happened. So when I tell you, I have really been having to stay on top of my grieving cycle because I have to grieve this stuff. And the tools that are on the website, use them. Don't buy it and then just let it sit. It's going to be emailed to you as soon as you purchase it. I got a book for men to become alchemists, to become safe men, because a lot of men are actually good men, great men. But a good man ain't always a safe man. Their nervous system needs to be healed so that they can be a safer man. That's so important. We need our men, and we need our men to be healed. And a lot of women have just given up on trying. And the male loneliness epidemic is only going to get worse from here. And I already told y'all, for those of you who are not new to me, y'all already know I told y'all what was going to happen. And it's happening now. And I told y'all that men who didn't know how to sustain a healthy relationship was going to start choosing these synthetic partners. Look like women and can do some of the things that women do. But there would not be any requirement for you to show up as a safe version of yourself. And so the frequencies and the entities that are in the air, it is making people feel unhinged, feel ungrounded, unregulated. People want to crash out. Small things irritate you. When you live in survival mode and you have chronic stress stored in the body, that's just what happens. So the goal for anything is to heal the nervous system. So becoming a safe man, that's on the website. How to become a safe woman for yourself first, because most of us don't know how to be safe for ourselves first. Okay, we got kind of an opposite issue that a lot of men are dealing with. That's on the website. I actually have 2 books for women. Okay, so that's there. All right. And for the souls who found me, I don't know how y'all found me. Because when I tell you the algorithm be having my stuff on 2 and 3 views, no comments ever, and you would look at the numbers and be like, this person must be somebody who has absolutely nothing that is wise to share with anybody. You would think that. And that's what the 3D matrix is designed to do. That's what social media is designed to do. It put huge numbers on other people's content who is not going to really lead you anywhere. And then it puts really low numbers on the people who actually blood, sweat, and tears have invested into this. And I invested a lot. I came back to this planet to help y'all. Okay. So stay encouraged, be safe. Don't be by yourself. Let somebody know where you at when you're going somewhere. Ladies, be careful. For y'all single ladies, like I can only imagine what it feel like to be single right now. You do need protection. You do need security. Whatever ways you can do that, spiritually, physically, mentally, watch out for yourself. We need to get to a point where we can watch out for each other, but a lot of us are so wounded, it's hard for us to even coexist with one another. And that's by design, but it's healing. But we got to do the work. All right. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I may repost this on my YouTube if they let me. If you go over there in a couple days and it ain't there, I will put it on my Patreon. If you're in a tough spot right now, I got a lot of free content on my Patreon as well. But just sending love to y'all, not love and light. Okay, we already had that conversation. If you was late, catch the replay. But I have to go. I need to get rest and get my baby girl ready for school tomorrow, yada, 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 do all the things and take care of myself. Okay. So take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself.